Okay, gang, lesson 1-4. We move our use or our work with integers into the realm of multiplying and dividing. And again, our targets in this particular case, we want to be able, when we're done, to be able to multiply and divide integers. In this case, we're talking mainly about applying the rules for signs with multiplication and division. And then also understand what happens if we divide or when we run into a case of dividing by 0. Because it is a special case that you may run into at times, and you have to know what to do when it gets there. Again, I'm a rule guy, and in this case, I really think that modeling probably wastes time. It can be done. You are simpler in this case, I think it's simpler in this case to learn the rules. They're quick, they're easy. If the signs are the same, and this is two-number integer multiplication or division, which actually it shouldn't even just be integers, it's any numbers. If the signs are the same, any two numbers, sign same, positive answer. Two numbers, signs are different, answers are negative. Okay. Then we will talk in here what happens when we have more than two numbers. What if we have three numbers, and so on. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to multiply some numbers together, and this shouldn't take very long, and then we're going to talk about a little bit of multiplying or dividing, by 0. All right, so if I have 3 times negative 3, first of all, multiply the numbers like you normally would. 3 times 3 is 9. No big deal. Now, a negative times a positive, so the signs are different. Negative answer. Okay. Negative 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Negative times positive, signs are different. Negative. Okay. Negative 5 times negative 6, well, 5 times 6 is 30. Negative times negative, well, the signs are the same. Two signs that are the same, and in some ways, if you even want to think about it, a negative and a negative, well, the negatives in some ways, it's not technical, but sort of cancel each other out. So because the signs are the same, I have a positive answer. And in this case, I'm using the fraction bar for division, because fractions can be division problems. 14 divided by 7 is 2. A positive divided by a negative, well, the signs are different. Negative sign. Okay. Now, when I get into 3-number multiplication and division, just work from left to right, because, well, and again, if you go back to your order of operations, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And again, that is just a memory tool. We'll talk more about this later. We have a unit as a review of order of operations. When you get to multiplication and division, we do them from left to right as they occur. And that is something that people will do out of order, because the whole, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, everybody gets used to saying my and then dear. Well, those are, just because we use this as a memory tool does not mean it goes that way. When you get to multiplication and division, we do them from left to right. So in this particular case, I have division and I have multiplication. I am doing the division first. So I'm taking the first two numbers and I'm going to divide them. 25 divided by 5 is 5. A negative divided by a negative. Well, the signs are the same, so I have a positive answer. So now I will take that and I will bring my negative 2 down. And this was multiply, so I need to maintain the multiplication. Well, we know no space means multiplication. And I will multiply these two numbers together. Now 5 times 2 is 10. A positive times a negative is a negative, because the signs are different. Okay? So every pair of negative signs in multiplication and division essentially cancel out. Divide, multiply. Well, because the division happens to show up on the left, we are doing it first. We are moving from left to right in this particular case when we get to multiplication and division. Negative 18 divided by 3. Well, 18 divided by 3 is 6. A negative and a positive, the signs are different, so negative. Okay, and then I can bring down my 2. It now gets involved. 6 times 2, we've got to maintain this multiplication, is 12. A negative times a positive, well, the signs are different, so negative answer. So negative 12 is my solution. Dividing by 0. one of the things that we have to understand that it is impossible to divide by 0. It cannot be done. And so I'm going to illustrate how it can't be done by going back to a 3rd or 4th grade understanding of fractions. Because, again, a fraction is a way that we can illustrate a division problem. So here I have a pizza. And a pizza or a pie or something is the common way that we teach kids how to deal with fractions. So here I have a pizza that looks like it has 8 slices. And so one of the things that you could say is you go to a friend's house and you guys have a pizza. You eat 2 out of the 8 slices. Remember, this is on the top. This is a part, or is the part. Okay, down here is the whole. Okay, so a fraction is a part out of a whole. And then in the next, we'll get into chapters about reducing fractions, which this would obviously reduce to 1/4. So you ate 1/4 of the pizza if you had 2 out of 8 slices. We could then change it to a decimal. 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. That's where it becomes a division problem, is when we are trying usually to change from a fraction to a decimal. We would go 1 divided by 4 and divide it using our long division and get 0.25. And then if we were going to percentages, this would end up being 25%. And that's all fine and good. Okay? Taking it to the next step, let me get rid of this. So you talk to your friends, and I'm going to erase while I'm talking here. You talk to your friends and you make plans with your friends that you are going to go over to their house and you're going to have pizza. So you tell them, you go, hey, order the pizza, I'll be there in half an hour. Okay. You end up getting sidetracked, you don't get there for an hour. Okay. So the pizzas come to the house and your friends are mean to you and they eat all of the pizza. Well, how much or how many slices did you get in that case? Well, you got none. You ate 0 out of the 8 slices of pizza. This is okay, perfectly okay. Nothing wrong with eating 0 out of 8 slices of pizza other than your friends are jerks. Your friends are jerks at this point because they didn't save you any pizza. But beyond that, the mathematical part of it, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it, which this would be, as a decimal, 0 divided by 8 is 0. If we did this as a percentage, this would be 0%. Okay, and that's all fine and good. You can do that. Here is the problem that we run into. And let me go ahead and erase these things. It's trying to put 0 in the denominator. Trying to make 0 a whole. Okay. First of all, if you have a whole of 0, you are telling me that you have a pizza that never existed. Okay? So this pizza never happened. So going back to that scenario of you call your friends, you're going to order a pizza and so on, and you get to their house, and here is the real question. Is it possible for you to eat 2 slices of a pizza that there is no whole? This pizza never existed at all. Well, no, it is not possible for a person to eat 2 out of 0 slices. This is what we call undefined. Because there is no way to divide 2 by 0. Okay, now you can try, if we were to do this, I guess. How many times does 2 go into 0? Well, 0 times, and you end up, so we would end up having all these zeros and things like that. It's not even capable of doing it. Now give me a second here. I've got to find it. You'll notice I'm opening off to the side of my window here. I'm opening some folders. I need to go into my accessories, and I'm going to try to find, well, evidently I can't find it. I was going to throw the calculator up here. But when you try doing the calculator, you will get some sort of an error message. Or some calculators are programmed, scientific calculators and so on, may give you a situation where it will actually tell you that it's undefined. But if you go 2 divided by 0 in a standard basic calculator, you're going to get an error message because it's not a doable thing. So if you ever see anything, a fraction with 0 in the denominator, if you ever see 8 divided by 0, something like this, do not put 0. 0 is not the solution. Undefined, and I'm going to abbreviate it over here because I'm running out of space on the side. Undefined is the answer. We cannot even put it into terms of a number. So we are now at the end of this particular lesson. Time for you to get some practice on your own. Good luck.